Workers' rights are human rights. Workers' rights are human rights.
Excuse me. Is there a rally here today?
Yeah. For workers' rights.
Beware. Go big, or go home.
What? Go big?
Unions alone cannot stop the Roberts 5 assault and stop union busting. We need to go big.
Roberts 5? Who are they?
Chief Justice Roberts, and Associate Justices Scalia, Kennedy, Thomas, and Alito, of the Supreme Court of the United States. The Roberts 5 committed the most disastrous global corporate assault through misplaced power against we the people in our American creed since King George of England impelled us to declare independence.
How did the Roberts 5 do that?
The Roberts 5 assault is their decision in the so-called Citizens United case claiming property, a corporation, has the rights of a person.
Good grief. The Roberts 5 have a thing for property.
Big time. Same as the Dred Scott decision, saying that a person, a slave, is property with no rights. They think government is about property, not people.
That Dred Scott case led to the Civil War.
It was one of several stages. The Roberts 5 sided with property, corporations, incorporated together under the deceptive title Citizens United and against we the people. The Roberts 5 assault is the lifeblood of global corporate influence in politics. Until it is nullified by amending our Constitution, it will bleed labor unions and progressives of their time, energy, and resources fighting the endless for-profit destruction of our economy, life and earth.
How does this Corporations United case involve our creed?
Our creed was proclaimed in our revolution against King George when he sided with a global corporation and against we the people. The King, government corporate complex granted major tax cuts, deregulation, and a monopoly over tea sales to the East India Company and taxed the people to enforce the scheme.
I know, a tea tax paid for the military, police, courts and jails to protect property, and the tea company got tax cuts, deregulation and monopolized.
People got taxed. Corporations got represented.
Taxation without representation.
Precisely. Those policies drove the Sons of Liberty to organize the Boston Tea Party. The tea dumped in Boston Harbor was global corporate cargo. Had those corporatist aristocrats been permitted to make one global corporation a virtual lord of tea, global corporations would soon control all goods sold. America's wealth would be sponged off to a global corporate economy. Benjamin Franklin warned the colonists to join, or die.
Then Paul Revere and others warned the Minutemen, and they fired the shot heard round the world from the Old North Bridge in Concord.
Concord, Massachusetts.
I know. I am no dummy.
Thomas Jefferson wrote the creed demonstrated by those Minutemen into our Declaration of Independence. Now it's the American creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
People really needed to be vigilant.
We still do. Recall Eisenhower. Ike warned us too. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. The military-industrial complex operates like the tea aristocracy of 1776, but this aristocracy of corporations and politicians sell military arms to our government.
I like Ike. Okay, where is the assault on our creed?
It is stage 2 of the global corporate takeover of America. Stage 1 is Reaganomics. Corporatist tax cuts, deregulation of corporations, and mergers of global corporations. King George could only have dreamed of the virtual monopolistic aristocracies which have since formed within vital industries. Just a few global corporations now control over 80% of our food supply.
So it's not just about tea or military arms anymore?
It's all goods sold. The big lie that our nation's wealth will trickle down if left in the tight fist of speculators who play the world's stock markets, which have no allegiance to any nation or to the protection of our earth, created the financial crisis of 2007 and on. While America's middle-class wealth is sponged off by global corporate investors to their global economy, the tallest buildings and fastest trains are built in foreign lands.
Oh my. Reaganomics makes King George's scheme look like a little one corporation tea party.
True. Stage 2 of the global corporate takeover is the Roberts 5 assault on our creed. The intent of our First Amendment was to secure the rights endowed in individuals as unalienable attributes. For example, petitions drafted by an assembly of individuals must be signed by each individual. The Roberts 5 assault sidesteps that by deceptively highlighting political speech of a speaker. They made the switch like court jesters playing a shell game with words. For example, Roberts argues political speech of a speaker is protected by the First Amendment. But then says, "CU. Incorporated speaks political speech. Therefore corporate political speech is protected by the First Amendment."
But that is a reasoning fallacy. Suppressed evidence. The speaker is supposed to be an individual, not property.
Exactly. Next, the Roberts 5 declared a century of campaign finance law, which secured our creed against the unwarranted influence Ike warned us about, to be an infringement upon their newly made rights of property.
Beware. The military-industrial complex, and all corporations with allegiance only to their profits, now have unalienable rights alienated from shareholders and commingled together to express corporate political speech through electronically signed money transfers to politicians, leaving no liability to shareholders when their property harms our economy, life or earth.
Correct, and that is the Roberts 5 doctrine of corporation rights of an individual person, without individual responsibilities.
In logic, to transfer attributes of individuals to property is a pathetic fallacy. It's okay in poetry about angry seas or weeping clouds, but not law.
Of course not. In biblical terms, it is idol-making in the form of the free speech rights of an individual into a corporate charter proclaiming, "Money talks." On a corporate balance sheet it's recorded as services purchased. Lawmaking. In political terms, the Roberts 5 subjugated our creed that governments are instituted to secure the rights endowed by a creator into individuals, and substituted in its place a corporatist dogma that governments are instituted to secure corporations from the laws of people. Pragmatically speaking, the Roberts 5 opened our borders to a disastrous rise of misplaced power. Unwarranted, unlimited and secret global corporate monies, which influence our elections and lawmaking.
The Roberts 5 are the guys Ike warned us about. Who appointed these guys?
Reagan, Bush, and W. Bush.
But they're Republicans. Ike was a Republican. What happened to the Republican leadership after Ike?
Sure beats me. They're global corporatists now. Stage 3 of the global corporate takeover has begun. Corporatists seek to divide and conquer us using secret global corporate cash to finance their campaigns of fear tactics and emotional single issues to divert attention from their scheme and lure voters to forsake our creed by voting for their global corporate sympathizers. Working from inside our governments, they plot to break American labor unions because they rally voters against their scheme.
First Reaganomics, next the Roberts 5 assault. Now union busting. They want to reduce government services but still tax all of us to provide only the military, police, courts and jails to protect their property while they get tax cuts, deregulation and monopolize. They incorporate from all over the world to influence our elections and lawmaking so they can sponge off our middle-class wealth to their global banks. Yet they don't want American families to bargain for a decent living wage.
No, they don't. And today's government global corporate complex is more capable of destroying our economy, life and earth than all their predecessors combined.
So beware, join, go big, or just go home.
All union members and progressives defending our rights to clean air, water, oceans, safe and wholesome food, peace, clean energy, safety and equality in the workplace, product safety, the rights of small businesses and independent farmers, must join to stop the global corporate takeover of America, or die from the global corporate roar of legal bribes,
As if the Sons of Liberty took action against a tea aristocracy just to allow a few other global corporations to control the rest of our food supply. As if the Minutemen fired upon the King government corporate complex just to allow the military-industrial complex to bribe politicians. Our government of the people, by the people and for the people was instituted to secure the birthrights endowed in people by a creator from corporations and not the other way around. A corporation is property, not a person. A bribe is corruption, not political speech. Our creed has been violated and our borders have been breached.
So beware. Go big. Join and network. Notify union members, progressives, all Americans, to unite in each other's rallies. Call out all candidates. Make them answer. Do you support an amendment nullifying the Roberts 5 assault on our American creed and prohibiting corporate lobbying? Or are you a global corporate sympathizer?